Okay, so tomorrow we're going to be working on identifying slopes, identifying y-intercepts, and word type forms. So first we want to go over slope-intercept form here and what exactly this means. You should be very familiar with this from last year, but we're just going to do a quick review. Okay, so the slope-intercept form is when you have your y alone on one side of the equals. So this is by itself. It can be on this side or over here. So in this case, we could write it mx plus b, and then it would be by itself on this side. So it can be on either side, but we isolate y, okay? And then we have m. M, you should remember, stands for your slope. And as we've discussed the last couple weeks, it's your rise over your run. It can also be called your rate, your constant rate. It can be y2 minus y1, which is your change in y's, over your change in x's. There's lots of different ways to talk about it, but really your slope is just the rate in which it rises and runs, or increases and moves across, okay? So it can be on a linear line here. You know, we have rise and then we have run, and that goes up the same amount and right to the same amount, okay? Or we can say it goes down and left the same amount, down and left the same amount, okay? Or when we were talking about the airplane problem the other day, it rose 1,800 feet every 1 minute and went another 1,800 feet after another minute. So it's a constant rate. And then our b is the y-intercept. And that is the point in which it intersects the y-axis, or the point that lies on the y-axis. So in this case, here's my y, and this is the point in which it goes through the y-intercept, or the y-axis. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it went over 0 and down a -5. So the y-intercept is -5. So we can say here b is -5. b is the y-intercept. This is another way of writing the y-intercept. And the y-intercept is just the point at which it crosses the x-axis. When we're talking about word problems, it's usually like a fee you have to pay, or a certain amount of money, or something that happened that is not increasing or decreasing. It's just a flat amount. And that goes right here. Okay? So we have slope-intercept form. We have the slope is the rise or run. So in this case, it went up 2 over 2, up 2 over 2. So we can say the slope is 2 over 2, or 1. If we went this way, it went down -2 and left -2. So in this case, if we moved it that way, it'd be -2 over -2, which again would be 1. Because we need to remember, when you go to the left direction, that's a negative. And then when you go to the right direction, that's a positive. And you should know that by the way the x and y axis is numbered, okay? So slope-intercept form, you need to remember the way this is where the y is isolated on one side. Your slope is always the number before your x, and then your y-intercept is the b, or in this case, it's the constant. So if I give you an example, let's say we have y equals x minus 3, and I asked you to find the slope. The slope is the number before the x. So what number is before the x, but we can't see it? 1. So this has a slope of 1. It rises 1 and runs 1. Then if I want to know what the y-intercept at, we say, what is in the b place? Well, here, remember, use a sign before it, b is -3, which means it crosses at the 0, -3 mark on the y-intercept, or the y-axis. Okay? Now remember, hopefully my head's not getting in the way here. I'll start over here. I can have it written a different way. I can say -1/2 x plus 3 equals y. This is still in slope-intercept form because the y is isolated by itself. So we can identify the slope as the number before the x. So here's my slope. So my slope is -1/2. Okay? And then if we were to put that on our graph, oops, I erased my writing. So we'd have -1/2. And then, sorry, erase that. And then this is in the B position, right? Here's the B. So that means the y-intercept is at 0, 3. So I can graph any line given this. I'm going to start with my y-intercept because that's a point on the line. So that's 0, 3, so that's right here. And then my slope says -1/2. Negative is down, so I go down 1 over 2. Down 1 over 2, okay? And then you can just draw your line. And I always look at it and I say the slope's negative. Is my line negative? Going down left to right? Yep, I'm good to go. Okay, so the other thing, so this should all be review. Hopefully you remember all of this. Identifying the slope, identifying the y-intercept, being able to draw that line, understanding that slope is the rise or the run or a constant rate, and then the b is the y-intercept, which is the point on the y-axis. And in a word equation, it's usually a flat phi or something that's going to happen just once. Okay, so let's look at those word problems because you're going to have to get good at identifying these. If I look at this first problem, it says Carlos works at an electronics store selling computer equipment. He can earn a bonus if he sells 10,000 worth of computers this month. So far this month he's sold 4,000 worth of computer equipment. He hopes to sell additional laptop computers for $800 each and reach his goal. The function is f of x is 800x plus 4,000. That represents Carlos' total sales as a function of number of the laptops he sells. So if I went back and looked through this, keywords here, okay? He has sold. So this is how much money he has sold right now. And then this $800 each, the word each should tell you that that is a rate. And the rate, another word for rate, is slope. Okay? So if you look over to this equation here, here's my slope, 800, 800 each. Here's the 4,000 that he already sold. Okay, so they just put these things into, this is slope-intercept form. Remember, the function of x is also just y. So y equals 800x plus 400. Okay, so now let's look at our graph here. All right, here is my 4,000. This is the y-intercept because 0, 4,000, that's 4,000 sales, right? And then the slope was 800. So it has to, the slope is 800 over 1, right? Because all whole numbers get put over 1. So it's 800 over 1. So it's got to rise and run 800 to 1 every time. So looking at this, we know that we have to sell $800 for every one computer. So sometimes it helps if you just sort of write in what this means. So $800 per computer. So the question is, at one point is he going to hit his goal? Because he wants to be able to sell $10,000 worth of computers to get his bonus. So very simply, we're going to look at this equation. Okay, I'm going to find that $10,000 mark. And I'm going to draw a line across. Okay, and so if we look at that, it intersects at this point here. So at this point, let's see if we look at the x is 7.5, and then the y is 10,000. So the question is, what does that mean? This is the intersection, but what does that mean? And so on the next problem, you're going to do this yourself. You're going to have to find the intersection and then tell what it means. So I know that x, this is my x, and this is my x. So I know x is the number of laptops sold, and this is my y, and this is my y, and this is the total sales. So in short, I should be able to say that, hopefully my head's not in the way here, he will have to sell 7.5 computers to make $10,000, oops, not percent, dollars, to get his bonus. Okay? So, read it, understand where the slope and the y-intercept is, and then the question asks you to find out a piece of information. So we want to know when our buddy here is going to be able to hit his bonus. Well, he's going to have to sell 7.5 computers to make $10,000, and then he'll get his bonus. So I want you guys to look at this one now. This talks about Lena. She's working at her playhouse. This is my playhouse costume here. And let's see if I can switch. This needs to be, hold on just. Okay, and so she's at the playhouse on opening night. The tickets are $10 each. Again, there's your keyword. They've already sold 500. Again, that's key, already sold. And then it gives you the function. So you're going to look at your graph here. Again, hopefully my head is not in the way. Move that over here. Okay. So you're going to look at this again. And then I want you to be able to tell me a couple of things. What does the slope mean? What does the y-intercept mean? And then we want to know how many tickets will they have to sell to earn, I'll fix it, $1,200. Okay, so let's fix that. All right, there we go. So look at the equation, put into words what the slope is and what it means, put into words what the y-intercept and what it means, and then as I did before, look at what we're going to have to sell. I should move this so you can see it. What we're going to have to sell in order to earn $1,200. And then you'll go over this with Mr. Cook in the morning. He will be your substitute. And I hope that you'll be thinking about me tomorrow when I am lifting heavy weight down in Orlando, Florida at the World Championships. And hopefully I'll bring you back some gold. Good night.